In this video, we'll be taking a look at 3 college football games happening on November 4th, 2023, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 6 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 3 college football games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Oklahoma versus Oklahoma State. In a potentially final encounter, the Oklahoma Sooners and the Oklahoma State Cowboys are set to square off in a pivotal Big 12 conference showdown on November 4th. This Bedlam rivalry will be interrupted due to conference realignment as the Sooners join the Southeastern Conference, making this matchup even more special. The 9th-ranked Sooners are 7-1 this season, but enter the game on the heels of their first loss against Kansas. The number 22-ranked Cowboys, on the other hand, have enjoyed a 4-game winning streak leading up to the rivalry showdown. The Oklahoma Sooners hold a 7-1 record this season, with their sole loss coming against Kansas, finishing 38-33. The Sooners held a narrow 33-32 lead with a few minutes left, only to concede the game-winning score with under a minute remaining. The game resulted in a nearly even yardage battle, with both teams accumulating 440 total yards and turning the ball over 3 times. Despite this recent loss, the Oklahoma offense has shown promise, averaging 42 points per game. They've posted 308.9 passing yards per game, 180.9 rushing yards per game, and a 47.7% conversion rate on third downs. Dylan Gabriel has been the catalyst, throwing for 2,302 yards, 19 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. In the rushing department, Tawee Walker has contributed with 385 yards and 5 touchdowns, while Jalil Farooq has hauled in 26 receptions for 449 yards and 2 scores. Defensively, the Sooners are allowing 19 points per game this season. The Oklahoma State Cowboys are 6-2 this season and enter the contest with a convincing 45-13 victory over Cincinnati in their last outing. Although Oklahoma State held a tight 10-7 lead at halftime, they exploded in the second half, outscoring Cincinnati 35-6. Statistically, they outperformed Cincinnati, amassing 601 total yards and forcing 2 turnovers on downs. The Cowboys started the season with a 2-2 record, but have since turned the tide with 4 consecutive victories, putting them in a tie for first place in the Big 12. The Cowboys' offense is averaging 31 points per game, with 244.6 passing yards per game and 184.4 rushing yards per game, while converting 39.2% of their third down attempts. Quarterback Alan Bowman has thrown for 1,580 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions, while Ollie Gordon leads the rushing attack with 1,087 yards and 10 touchdowns. In the receiving department, Jadon Bray has caught 27 passes for 349 yards and 1 touchdown. The Cowboys' defense is giving up an average of 24 points per game this season. This matchup holds immense significance for both teams as they currently share a 4-1 record in the Big 12 conference standings. The Sooners are coming off their first loss to Kansas, while the Cowboys have only managed to win once in their previous 8 Bedlam meetings. Historically, the Cowboys have performed better in home games against the Sooners, and their ground attack is one of the nation's most potent. Recent contests have revealed Oklahoma's vulnerability to opposing rushing offenses, as showcased by Kansas last week. Oklahoma State has been on a hot streak, winning 4 consecutive games, with a perfect 3-0 record against the spread in home conference matchups. In contrast, the Sooners have struggled to cover the spread when they've been single-digit favorites this year. Despite the Sooners' superior talent, their recent games have been tightly contested, including a loss to Kansas. The Cowboys possess an offense that can challenge the Sooners, and their defense adopts a bend-but-don't-break style. With the advantage of playing at home and considering the nature of this rivalry, siding with the underdog seems appealing to say the least. So the Oklahoma State Cowboys to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. When it comes to the total points in this matchup, over 60 points have been scored in 6 of the last 11 games between Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. 3 of the last 4 Bedlam games played in Stillwater also exceeded the 60-point mark. Both teams boast high-powered offenses this season, reflected by their ability to consistently score over 33 points. The Oklahoma Sooners have been prolific, scoring at least 33 points in 3 of their last 4 games. Their rapid-paced offense ranks 8th in offensive plays per game. On the other side, the Oklahoma State offense has been consistently productive, averaging 44 points in their last 3 games. The Sooners have struggled defensively in recent outings, allowing at least 29 points in 3 straight games. The over has been successful in 4 of the last 5 road games for the Sooners. Given the offensive firepower of both teams and their recent defensive vulnerabilities, this matchup is poised to be a high-scoring affair. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. Virginia Tech versus Louisville. A thrilling Atlantic Coast Conference showdown awaits as the 13th-ranked Louisville Cardinals host the Virginia Tech Hokies at L&N Federal Credit Union Stadium. Virginia Tech enters this Saturday contest on a high note, securing a second consecutive victory with a 38-10 triumph over Syracuse in their recent Thursday night matchup. On the other side, the 13th-ranked Cardinals bounced back from their lone loss with an emphatic 23-0 shutout against 20th-ranked Duke. The stage is set for what promises to be a picturesque fall afternoon. The Virginia Tech Hokies are aiming for their 3rd consecutive win to climb above a .500 record. It's worth noting that the Hokies have faced difficulties on the road this season, losing all 3 of their away games. Quarterback Kyron Drones has completed 58.6% of his passes for 1,236 yards, delivering 7 touchdowns and just 1 interception. The receiving duo of Jalen Lane and Daquan Felton has combined for 725 yards and 9 touchdowns, while Stephen Gasnell has contributed with 17 receptions. On the ground, the Hokies' offense averages 162.6 yards per game, led by Bashal Tutin, who has accumulated 478 yards and scored 4 touchdowns. Defensively, Virginia Tech concedes an average of 23 points and 319 yards per game. Kelly Lawson leads the team with 66 tackles. Antwan Powell Ryland boasts 9 sacks, and Dorian Strong has secured 1 interception. The Louisville Cardinals are determined to maintain their undefeated home record and improve their overall season to 8-1. The Cardinals have won their last 9 home games, highlighting their prowess on home turf. Quarterback Jack Plummer has been effective, completing 63.8% of his passes for 2,018 yards, producing 13 touchdowns alongside 8 interceptions. Jamry Thrash and Chris Bell have been key targets, amassing 941 receiving yards and 8 touchdowns, while Omri Huggins Bruce has made 14 receptions. The Cardinals' rushing attack averages 185.3 yards per game, with Jawhar Jordan leading the way, amassing 824 yards and 10 touchdowns. On the defensive front, Louisville allows an average of 18 points and 303.4 yards per game. TJ Quinn has registered 61 tackles for the Cardinals, Ashton Gillott has tallied 8.5 sacks, and Devin Neal has secured 3 interceptions. Virginia Tech maintains a 6-2 advantage in the all-time series, claiming 2 consecutive wins, the most recent of which occurred in 2020 at Louisville. This matchup carries additional significance for Virginia Tech as they aim to build on their 2-game winning streak and establish control in the Atlantic Coast Conference. The Hokies, however, faced a significant setback earlier this season when they lost by 22 points to 5th-ranked Florida State, their sole encounter with a ranked opponent. While Virginia Tech secured wins against Syracuse and Wake Forest, they now face the challenge of performing on the road, where they've struggled. The Hokies' defense has displayed vulnerabilities against opposing rushing attacks, which may play to the advantage of Louisville's running back Jawhar Jordan, who has had 5 games with 113 or more rushing yards. The Louisville Cardinals, boasting a top 20 defense and a balanced offensive approach, have a solid foundation for a convincing home victory. With their perfect 4-0 against the spread record at Cardinal Stadium this season, they are the superior team on both sides of the ball. Louisville is also coming off an impressive shutout against a ranked Duke team. Given the overall superiority of Louisville, it is likely they will dominate at home. Louisville's offense, which scored 33 points against Notre Dame and 23 against Duke, should comfortably surpass 30 points. Virginia Tech, with its mediocre offense and inability to stop the run, is expected to struggle to score throughout the game. So the Louisville Cardinals to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. While both teams have demonstrated strong offenses, they have also excelled defensively. Louisville secured its second shutout of the season, and both teams have limited opponents to 20 points or less in multiple games. As this game is expected to be dominated by Louisville, with Virginia Tech struggling to score, we anticipate a game with an emphasis on defense. Both teams will likely strive to establish the run, which not only keeps the clock running but also reduces the frequency of quick scoring drives. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. Florida State versus Pittsburgh. As one of the 8 remaining undefeated teams in NCAA football, the Florida State Seminoles venture north with an 8-0 record to take on the 2-6 Pittsburgh Panthers in their second consecutive road game. While the Panthers managed to secure a victory at home against Louisville 3 weeks ago, they face a formidable challenge in 2023 in hosting the Seminoles. Florida State arrives with an impressive 8-0 record, with their sights set on a potential college football playoff berth. They are determined not to falter in these crucial matchups. In their last game, Florida State put up 41 points against Wake Forest, securing a resounding victory. Quarterback Jordan Travis played a pivotal role, completing 22 of his 35 passes for 359 yards and 3 touchdowns. Trey Benson made a significant impact, rushing 10 times for 55 yards and a touchdown, while also catching 4 passes for 100 yards and another touchdown. On the season, Florida State averages 41.5 points, boasting the 5th-ranked defense in the league, while their defense ranks 20th, allowing an average of 18 points per game. Pittsburgh, on the other hand, enters the game with a 2-6 overall record and suffered a lopsided loss in their most recent outing, scoring only 7 points while conceding 56. There have been issues within the team, with coach Pat Narduzzi publicly expressing his dissatisfaction. Pittsburgh's offense averages 22 points per game, but their defense allows 29 points per game. Their offense ranks 103rd, and they face the daunting task of reinvigorating their play in this game. The matchup appears unfavorable for Pittsburgh as they take on the nation's 4th-ranked playoff-bound team. On paper, there are a few bright spots for the Panthers, as they have a lackluster offense averaging 312 yards per game, ranking among the bottom tier of all Football Bowl subdivision teams. This includes a mere 104 rushing yards and just over 200 passing yards per game. The quarterback position has also been a source of concern for Pittsburgh. Florida State boasts a formidable rush defense and excels at stifling teams that rely heavily on passing. This season, Florida State has allowed only 186 passing yards per game and maintains a 49.9% completion rate for opposing teams. Pittsburgh's completion rate aligns closely with that figure at 51.7%. Furthermore, Florida State only allows opponents to successfully convert third downs 30.7% of the time, a percentage that aligns well with Pittsburgh's rate of 30.4%. Florida State has displayed consistent scoring throughout the season, maintaining a streak of 14 consecutive games with 30 or more points. Pittsburgh's defense, allowing an average of 29 points per game, aligns with Florida State's scoring trend. Florida State's potential was showcased in their recent victory over Notre Dame, in which they put up 58 points, the highest the Fighting Irish have conceded to a Power 5 school in the last 20 years. Off-field issues, including the coach's comments that may have affected player morale, cast a shadow on Pittsburgh's chances. The Panthers face a daunting battle, especially considering they have to confront an undefeated Florida State team. With the Seminoles highly motivated to avoid any surprises, this is not a letdown situation for them. The game is expected to mirror the lopsided outcome of Pittsburgh's previous game against Notre Dame. In this matchup, early domination is anticipated, so the Florida State Seminoles to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. The book has set the total line at 50.5 points for this game, consistent with previous Florida State games this season. The highest line in their games has been 56 points, while the lowest was 48. Among these lines, the over has prevailed in 6 out of 8 games. Florida State has maintained consistent scoring throughout the season, having scored more than 30 points in their last 14 contests. Over the last 4 games, they have averaged around 40 points, with a season average of 41.5 points. Pittsburgh, with an average of 20 points per game, will face challenges due to team chemistry issues and Florida State's formidable defense. Nonetheless, achieving 2 scores from the Panthers will be enough to push this game over the total. The difference maker in this game is Florida State quarterback Jordan Travis, who has consistently put up 40 or more points. Florida State has maintained an average of 40 points per game over the last 4 games and has scored at least 31 points in every game this season, except twice. Pittsburgh's defense gave up 41 points at home to North Carolina, another formidable offensive team in the Atlantic Coast Conference. Expect a continuation of Florida State's high-scoring trend in this game. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.